kiss and hug me. Come on strong, go on and love me. Without waste that big old moon. Wake up and smell the perfume. Just say if you want to be more than friends.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah. Hi, Charles.
All right, yeah. Hello, Deborah. Hello, everybody. One thing I did want to talk about is, I don't know if I shared it with you last night because it was like, I don't know. I was going to put the link over there, but it was like, I think it may have been 3 or 4 in the morning at my time. And I've really been following this whole thought process about apprenticeships and about kind of where we are in the process. And I'll tell you why this matters to me. And it's kind of in the same ballpark, I think. And it is, I mean, I've been really working for the last 3 years, you know, and obviously I'm leaving out of that now. My perspective about working with internet marketing consultants is this, that a lot of us, it's almost hard to say. A lot of us kind of came to this as a business opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we approach small businesses as experts without having spent that time developing expertise. And so a lot of discussion is on acquiring the client, and not a lot of not a time is talked about, man, how do we get, I mean, because these guys are mom and pop businesses. Some of them are middle market businesses. They have families. Those families are dependent on that profit. Their employees are dependent on making a profit. And so it's not a small thing to be a consultant. Are we driving profits, right? Is it just a matter of, you know, let's get them some SEO results? Because I've heard in these circles, I've heard this, and you probably heard this too. I'm responsible for visibility. I'm not responsible for conversion. I'm not going to be responsible for a business owner that doesn't know how to sell stuff. Well, what the heck? I mean, really, so what? There's still a gap then, right? Because who's responsible for that? And not saying that I have to be responsible, but at some point, though, I think part of the issue is that we miss that piece of being, I mean, almost like an apprentice in learning how to get profit for these people, because that is what they're really paying for. They're paying the hope that they hope that this visibility will give them profitability. And I could be wrong. I could be all wet, and maybe this is just how consulting is work. If it does, if that's the way consulting is, then I don't like it, right? And I say that, I don't say that self-righteously. I say that, I just say I don't like it, right? And I'm just one person. Because here's where I drew the parallel. One of the things that the article talked about was this, that you can't really look at apprenticeships in Germany and compare them to how we don't have in the United States, because basically employers here in the States don't take workers and train them and make them ready. They expect the college to do that, or they expect them to come ready to be able to do that. So the expense of getting somebody ready, that kind of either falls on the person or it falls on the college, and the college is no longer doing that, and they've not really set up for that. So what you have now is you have almost this permanent underclass right now, people between 18 and 25 who know how to read books, right? But they don't know how to do anything, right? I mean, really, just quite frankly, they don't know how to do anything. And
so you got a double gap. You actually have two gaps there, because you have the gap on if the client comes to a consultant and pays, they're expecting some conversions, but really they're only paying for the visibility and the traffic. They're not really paying for the conversions, and they're responsible for the conversions. Now, maybe they could hire a copywriter to help, make it more enticing as far as a sales page, but ultimately business owner is responsible for the conversion, unless there's some sort of guarantee package that, hey, you hire me and I guarantee that you get this many, this many customers, whatever. But you're right. On the other side, you've got your would-be apprentice, and there's a gap there that they can't fill the other gap.
Yeah, and so it's almost as if here's what I think really needs to happen in our industry, right? We've got to learn how to get profit for business. There is no visibility thing, right? That's like a non-entity. It might be what we sell, but that's not what they want to buy. They're buying it because it's the only thing that they can get. Now, they're probably willing to pay more for a person who can say, you know what, I'm going to increase your profits. I'm going to increase your profits. They don't care if it's at that point. If somebody came to me and said, Charles, what are your profits today? And I gave them a number and said, I'm going to double them. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they do SEO. I don't care if they go out in the corner and stand on their head. If they say if they're going to bring more profit, that's what I want. So, I don't care about SEO, social media, and all the other stuff. I care about the bottom line, because the bottom line allows me to go to Maine whenever I want to, right? So
is it, what is that? Is that called getting some skin in it, as far as the person's actually committing to say, I don't get anything until I make sure that you get some profits, which is almost like a salesperson on commission.
It is. And except, no, it is. But somebody's got to make that happen, right? So either you got a team of people that can make it happen, or you don't, right? It's like I think that's like the full circle. And so many folks are entering into this thinking, well, hey, if I can just find a client and get them more visibility, right? That's the game. I'm a consultant. Maybe, right? I've gotten
it's one small piece.
I did the content for them. What else do they want? Well, they want profits. You know what I mean? That's what they want. So at some point, I think we all have to, myself included, we have to evolve to be these people. If we want to stay in the industry, right? We've got to evolve to be these people that can walk into a business and help them get more profit, right? Because I suppose you're right. They could go get a copywriter, but you're talking about a small business. Who's gonna, after they pay you, right, and they pay their people, they're gonna go get a copywriter?
And the
really
copywriter doesn't have anything vested. They might do their best, but maybe it's not the right one for that target audience. The niche, it might be a good fit, and they're paying for it regardless of whether it works or not.
And I could be all wet on this. I realize this could be like my Jerry Maguire moment. I'm just kind of pontificating about something that I think about the whole state of things. But I think, we need a business owner really does need more people. And let's say that person can pay $350 a month to improve their marketing. That's what they can pay. Well, they want to get more profit with that. So, it's not SEO, it's not Hootsuite, it's not any of that stuff, unless that one or two things is gonna make them more money for the money they're spending.
That's like, I was trying not to go there, but I've got to mention this because it's interesting that it's not just the businesses, it's not just the internet. It is our society as a whole and a global society, but the Miley Cyrus VMA movie, she proved that you can get traffic. But other than MTV making some money and some other, I'm sure there's some monetization somewhere in there. What does it prove? It proves that you can get, 500,000 shares and comments all over the place, whether you're pro, against, whatever, that you can go viral, that you can get traffic. But how is that converting? Unless you're, like I said, unless you're actually MTV or one of the biggies. Is that really helping the little guy? Or we're just right. Part of that machine. We're just spreading it around.
We did, and it was interesting because it was going in and out of news feeds, and everybody was talking about it. And some people said she accomplished what she wanted. Hey, at the end of the day, you're right. whose bottom line increased as a result of that? I guess, there's a whole moral issue, and I guess to some degree we all sort of have to be mercenary at some point. If we evaluate everything on the basis of that, then I guess we never do anything. But that being said, even if we just looked at this on the basis of, where the profit line is, I don't know, where is it, right? And so what I think is that, we've got to kind of come back to, really, I'm not saying everybody's got to go to business school, but we do have to understand how to make a business profitable. If you're going to consult, not you personally, but a person needs to learn how to make a business profitable if they are going to consult. And that is a problem in our industry, that we can sell an information product presenting the business opportunity to get the client, presenting the business opportunity to help them to make the business more visible. But you and I both know that it takes a little aptitude to get in there and really assess what's happening and get that business making more money. I mean, you might even have to read a financial statement.
Oh, wow.
When it's interesting. A few years back, there was a guy's name was Paul Limburg, and I guess he was running with the guys in StomperNet. And so, and you can appreciate this, he came out with this product called Formula 5. And so, he made the rounds, and he was doing the video launch and the whole deal. And so he would get on the video launch, and he would educate these marketers about this dynamic formula. This formula was financial ratios, right? So, what is gross
that wasn't
profit?
everybody's
What really
cup of
goes
tea.
Right. Well, people were saying, "This is amazing." This is amazing. Wow, I really understand this now. So that's what we got to do when we go into business. I was thinking to myself, I was about 2 months behind you. I should have thought of that myself. But really, this was just, it was 101 stuff, man. And so if you don't necessarily understand gross profit, how are you really going to tell this guy how he should be pricing? Well, you gotta consider the value. No, man. At some point, you gotta understand gross profit. You gotta understand profit contribution, some of that or something, before you set pricing on a suite of goods. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's my hope that things will really shake out so that we all, I guess, again, just really get in there and really look to try to make a business profitable. So, for instance, if I tell a business, hey, you need to be doing a radio show, right? I've said, okay, well, I'm gonna now, and Evan Pagan says this, right? And I've said this on our show, that great products, the difference between good products and great products and good service and great services, responsibility for them taking responsibility, your student. And so I need to take responsibility for them taking the radio show and generating more profit. That's what would make my coaching great coaching. And that's a lot to assume, and that's going to some degree too far. And I think what it does, though, it kind of tempers my desire to be, as you said, to be a helper, to be more focused, kind of like, well, no, I'm not here to help you. We're here to make you more profitable. You don't want to do that. Let's just cut our ties. You know what I mean? And that it helps me. That helps me then to kind of temper my desire to be, kind of like hands-on and really kind of giving you a push, because it's not about getting a push. It's about, okay, you want to take this course. Are you going to take it so you can be more profitable? Are you just taking it just so you can have another something on your hard drive? I don't want you in here. I don't want you in a, I love you, but I don't want you in a coaching program. You know what I mean? If you're not doing this to really better your business, right? To either get more prospects, bring in the right kind of people, meet the right kind of people. If that's not the goal. If you're just looking to learn some stuff, let's not do it. Let's do it if you really want to use this because you think it's gonna get you to the right thing. And I guess you probably feel the same way about Hangout. I mean, don't waste my time.
Yeah, I don't want you unless you really want the quality. That reminds me of the lady I worked with. I'm trying to be really careful, and I'll have to edit out anything that seems like I'm indicating who it was. But it's been a little while now, but I was working with her to have a makeup site, a membership makeup site, had all these great ideas. And, I think I mentioned this in maybe one of the first shows where we actually split it up and we agreed that, she was the talent. So she was on, she did a radio show. She did a fabulous job. She was on video. I mean, she was just funny. She knew her stuff about makeup, but I said, I will handle the branding and the marketing. Well, she wanted to get involved, so she started posting these pictures from 30 years ago that were like snapshots that had been, maybe in the basement, some water damage. They weren't great shots in the first place, and she was posting them on the site. I said, you can't do that. You don't understand. I can't counteract that. People are going to look at that and think you're just low quality, right. And you're not low quality. But you can't put these on. And she kept insisting, and then she'd well, why can't I put this? Or why can't I put a picture of my badge? This proves that I was doing this. I said, honey, we believe you. This is all, you got to hype it up. You can't have a picture of something from the 70s. That's just yuck. So I'm bringing in my, other 20-year-olds saying, am I right about this? Does this appeal to you? They're like, oh, so yuck. So anyway, we couldn't turn this into a profit because we couldn't agree on the marketing. And, finally it was like, look, if you want to do this the way I feel is right for you to make a profit, let's do it. Let's continue. But if not to say I'm right, but I just can't see helping you to make a profit doing it with 30-year-old icky pictures. So if that's how you want to do it, you know what? Let's part ways.
Yeah, right. No, right on. I mean, I don't know any other way. Was it really 30 years ago?
It was bad. It was, and sadly, she's highly talented. It's just we couldn't agree on the marketing and branding, and she didn't seem to understand the importance of having good quality pictures of her makeup and her artistic talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think a lot of it. I was at a meeting today earlier on. I was in the real world outside of the Matrix, and I was in the real world.
Really,
and,
actually, you
talking
made it.
To a guy. Yeah. I
like Hotel California.
Right. And he was saying, he was talking about his son. His son had graduated from college. He said, I'm really having a hard time convincing him that okay, so you've got this job that you're doing until you get your career job, but when you get home after that 8 hours, you got to put in the second 8 hours to prepare you for that thing. And he's saying, how do you get them to see that? And one of the things was, and there were a couple of guys there, we were just kind of saying that's kind of the makeup of it's kind of our society now. It's kind of like that's we kind of expect it, but the 18, the 19, the 20, the 20 hour, whatever it takes, the kind of whatever it takes, that's kind of missing. And that's what I kind of feel like with some of the whole consulting sort of business model things. Kind of like, well, I expect to be able to enter into the consulting gig and start helping small businesses because they don't know anything about it. Because the rap, here was the whole rap here. Here's
okay, all right.
It was small businesses, and if they see that, they're gonna probably crucify me. But here's the whole rap. These guys don't know anything about the internet. You know more than they do. So they'll write you a check if you can help them because you know more than they do. Probably true. So it has more to do with positioning and selling them on you. But then the flip side to that is, who gets this person these results? Is it still on them, or is it on me? Right?
What's their expectation?
What's their expectation? And what should their expectation be? Because I don't know too many people who can absorb $1,000, $2,000 in a month as a small business, right? And not see results, not visibility.
Right. Right. But if they don't know anything about the internet, they're going to assume that, internet, this big, cool, magical world, and if we pay a couple $1,000s, then we should have all of these people coming in from the internet as our customers. They wouldn't understand to separate that as far as the conversion from the visibility.
I was talking to, and the kings in our kind of in our realm, right, is HubSpot, and I know a lot of people swear by them. What I was trying to get to with them, I mean, what I think it would cost about it would cost $3,000 for them to take over everything from me, for them to just take over my dashboard, $3,000 in a year. I'm happy to give that to them, provided, right? I mean, I'm asking them, I'm saying, and I'm not complaining about HubSpot. I mean, they're phenomenal, clearly. What I was trying to get a read on is, what should I expect from you for $3,000?
As far as conversions?
Exactly.
Or I don't want what they're doing.
I don't want to I don't need deliverables, right? Mm-hmm. So, well, you get this thing. That's not important to me, right? I want sponsors, and I want people to listen to this show so I can get more sponsors, or I want people to buy affiliate products. I don't care about what you do. If I pay you $3,000 or whatever I pay you for, if it's $300, I don't care about that stuff. I want more money. You know what I mean? And so
that's very understandable.
It's like, a lot of this stuff. That's what I was saying when I said, I can reach out to these people on Twitter and send DMs and, go back and forth, or I can pick up the phone and I can call the guy and say, hey, do you want to be on my show? What date can you be there? That takes,
so you're talking about
10
fundamentals.
Minutes.
Back to the basics and fundamentals. And I think we get so excited about all the toys out there, like in a new sandbox and all these cool little trucks and things that we can play with, that we forget what's been working actually for centuries, even before, the information age and so forth. That reminds me of when I programmed in Java. I did a medical office management software for a doctor and her husband, and we were partners as far as like both couples. And he was going to sell it for $25,000. He had some people lined up that had already given him a check for it.
Right.
4 different clients, the whole thing. So I'm thinking to myself, even with expenses, I'm thinking $50,000 isn't too bad, and cover some airfare, and there's still enough there for a down on another house, so forth. You know what I forgot to calculate? What's 50% of 0? I forgot to calculate that. Oh.
Yeah, well, that's a minor detail,
Yeah, exactly. I learned after that everything can sound great. And, we weren't the sales team on that one. I'm not faulting him. I don't know what happened, whatever, he didn't sell it, and I don't know what happened with the checks that were on his desk that weren't whatever. But you got to take into consideration the expenses up against, your percentage of 0, which is 0. So back to basics, first grade math that we learned.
Right. No, that's the truth. I mean, but right. I mean, I guess it does take balance, because clearly all these things give us an advantage that we never had before. I guess we just can't be so starstruck by them that we forget, that you can go into the real world. It's like we were talking about before, and we were talking about before. That the one thing that the one guy, I think it was, I can't remember, one of these things, it was Evan Pagan or somebody was saying, hey, before you write copy, right, go to Walmart, and we talked about this before, go eavesdrop, right, and listen to how people talk, because they don't talk like marketers. They don't talk like social media people. They talk like real people. And so when you write emails and you write copy, you have to talk like they talk. You can't talk like, unless you're writing other marketers. I mean, you're writing other marketers and you talk in the jargon, but when you're writing copy for, just to sell consumer products, you have to talk like them. And I think we forget how real people talk sometimes. And that just kind of goes back to what you were saying. We get enamored with the tools, we get enamored with the industry and how fun this is, right? Because it is fun and all the people are really cool, right? We meet, like you and I, we meet really cool people all the time. They're probably really cool people listening to us right now. It's just that I think we don't realize how small of a fraternity we really are. And the rest of the world is kind of out there being real people. And so we go to talk to them and we start talking about, the things we talk about, and they're looking at us like, what? What are you talking?
I say Twitter, and my kids' friends are like, "Oh man, your mom is so cool. She's on Twitter." Meanwhile, their parents are like, "What is Twitter?" And it's like, "Oh my word."
Right? They're like,
"Yeah, I make my living on Twitter. I chat."
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's. I think it's like you said. We just have to be able to kind of zone back in on the fundamentals. So, story of my life.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
No, thanks for joining me, everybody. Everybody, and.
All right. We'll chat later.
All right. Take care.
Don't you wanna kiss and hug me? Come on strong, go on and love me. Let's not waste that big old moon. Wake up and smell the perfume. Just say if you wanna be more than friends. Got some love I'd like to make. Baby, you can squeeze me, I won't break. We could be in a paradise, you and me. Until then, I'll remind you again. Just say when. Oh yeah, until then, I'll remind you again. Just say when. Oh baby, just say when.